To his admirers, Elie Wiesel had the aura of a prophet. He spoke with eloquent simplicity about grand moral themes, balancing his paradoxical phrases so that listeners absorbed his message into their marrow. Whether explicitly or by suggestion, he summoned a personal history that had endured human malice in his flesh. As an orphaned survivor and witness to Auschwitz and Buchenwald, he spoke with unusual authority. At times, his strikingly chiseled face had a haunted cast that the French novelist François Mauriac described as the look of Lazarus, the acolyte whom Jesus was said to have raised from the dead. And yet those who knew him well remarked how deeply human and unaffected he was. He loved to sing, to join with friends in the Hasidic melodies he had grown up with in Sighet, Romania, where he was born, to join in whirling Hasidic wedding dances. He savored the quirks and flavors of Yiddish, his first language, and loved to laugh at a salty Yiddish joke. Though he walked with kings and queens at the climax of his career, he remained a man of modest tastes. He hated wearing tuxedos, took minimal interest in financial matters, and, as his son Elisha told me, he preferred instant coffee to the brewed variety because that was what he had been accustomed to in Europe. In old age, he told friends he wanted to be remembered not for his prestigious honors, or as the author of a landmark book about the Holocaust, or as a speaker on the world stage, but simply as the teacher he had been for more than 40 years. Wiesel became a revered world figure somewhat late in life. In his early 40s, he was a working journalist, freelancing for French and Israeli newspapers, hungry for scoops and interviews with the powerful and famous, barely scratching out enough to pay the rent, and sometimes relying on friends for a decent meal. Yes, he had already published Night, his harrowing account of Auschwitz and Buchenwald, that would sell millions of copies worldwide by the time of his death. But in 1960, when it was first published in English, it had found little more than 1,000 readers. For years after its publication, his talks about the Holocaust drew just a few dozen listeners.